Hello, wonderful people of the internet. Today, I'm going to be talking about normalizing unhealthy behavior. Oh man, this is a good one. So, I'm going to start off first by talking about the state of, I want to say how the internet is right now. Because a lot of stuff has changed very drastically over just like the past few years, mostly because of TikTok. But there's a few problems that I do want to talk about. And we'll get started first with mainstream drug use. So what I mean by mainstream drug use is the casual normalization of things like marijuana and nicotine. Those are the two really big ones right now. It's not like any crazy hard drugs are being promoted, but the way that marijuana, just like as a whole, like it doesn't really matter which type you use, marijuana as a whole has just like skyrocketed in like preteen use to Gen Z use over even like just the last year. And it's bad. It's really bad. And this is coming from someone who was, the Google term is chronic heavy smoker for at least 4 years. So, coming from me, that's bad. I mean, that's really bad. But it's not necessarily the drug itself. It's the way that it's being pushed to younger and younger audiences. Like, so, how do I say this? It's more targeted to, I would say, people my age, around the age from like 18, goes as low as like 12 to up to like 28, and those would be the oldest, some of the oldest people that are still considered Gen Z. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but not understanding what you're doing is a bad thing, because like it's put off as this cool thing. It's the new standard norm for, I don't know, I guess everybody. But that's not good, man. It really isn't, because a lot of the time most people, they have no idea what they're doing when it comes to marijuana. They don't really understand what they're putting into their body and how it's affecting them, because out of all the drugs that there are currently that you can get your hands on in the US, it's not the worst, but the effect that it's having globally and even in just our country, the US, is really bad. Like, and the vapes are like a whole other thing. Like, it's a whole different, put this, I need my lumbar support. It's just a whole nother mess of yikes. It's just really bad. But there are, I would say, because like there's a few things. There's marijuana and vapes being targeted towards kids, like very actively targeted towards kids. There's, you've seen it online, the vapes with like the video games, and they have the cool screens, the light ups that do all these cool flashy colors, but it's all the same thing. And the only difference between a vape and a cigarette is the fact that you can hit it more throughout the day. You can get more smoke, vapor, nicotine into your lungs than you can with a cigarette, just a single cigarette. Because I know people that will just chain smoke packs. Like, they'll go through a pack a day. They'll just sit there, minor inconvenience. Now I can deal with this problem. And that's the issue, is that these things, marijuana and weed and vapes, they're becoming an excuse to deal with problems or avoid problems. And that's not okay, because you don't need any of these things to function as a regular human being. In reality, it actually hinders your ability to do these things. Slowly but surely, and then you build up the conscious thought in your mind, the subconscious thought in your mind, that it's actually helping you when it really isn't. And I mean, I'm not really any different when it comes to that. I have a vape right here. It is what it is. But I used to be, like I said, a chronic heavy smoker for 4 years straight. I would start my day with like a bong rip, and then I would just go throughout the day, and I'd convince myself in my mind that, you know, that's just how I am, you know, that's just how it's got to be. It's really not. I've been well over a month clean now from that, and I don't be doing anything. Like, the only thing with the vapes is that it's a lot harder the younger you start, but I don't plan on staying on that forever. And I'm actively trying to quit. It's not something you can just drop, because it will negatively affect your life if you choose to do that. But yeah, that's the mainstream drug use is a problem. Targeted towards children, that's really bad. But I will talk about the pros and cons specifically for marijuana, not talking about vapes or nicotine, just marijuana pros and cons. I would say the pros would be that it can, you know, it is a stress reliever. It can make you feel more calm, more relaxed throughout the day. If you deal with a lot of stress and anxiety, it can help soothe the nerves a little bit. And, you know, it can also make you generally a more vibey person in certain scenarios. Like, if you get angered easily or you struggle with ADHD, it can help slow you down so that you can focus on one thought at a time. I know that was what helped me for a while, was that it really slows things down. But that's really it for the pros in terms of benefits that you get. That's really it. The cons, however, let me tell you. So the cons, like I said, it can help reduce anxiety and stuff like that. But what it does is actively smoking over longer periods of time actually builds up more anxiety. You end up with more than you started with, and you don't really realize it. Like, you don't realize that, you know, you're going throughout your day more and more anxious every day, because you don't actively notice that. Because that's the thing with weed, is it numbs you. And not just numbs your body, it numbs your mind, it numbs your emotions, numbs your responses, it numbs pretty much everything, to the point where you're just this, you're like just husk of a person. You just kind of sit there, and it takes you an hour to do one task. Not because that's how long the task takes, but that's how long you need to mentally and physically prepare yourself for that task. It's like, an example would be, I gotta go take out the laundry and do the dishes, you know, take out the garbage. I'll go smoke first. You know, I don't want to do it sober. I'll go smoke first. And then you end up smoking, and then you sit there for like another half hour on something completely different before you actually get to that task, when in reality if you got up the moment you thought about it and did it, you'd be done in 10-15 minutes, compared to I gotta go smoke for 45 minutes and then I'll get to it. It makes you, I would say, yeah, it makes you a D1 procrastinator, 100%. Like, you can be productive while actively smoking, and I know you can from experience, but it makes it a lot harder, and it makes you not want to do these things. Like, it takes the joy and the natural dopamine you get out of completing a task and replaces it with, oh, I'm high all the time. So you don't get that natural reward system anymore. You don't get that feeling of, oh, I got that done and over with, I don't have to worry about it. You don't get that. It's just, oh, cool, I'm gonna go smoke again. Like, that's the mentality you start to develop over time. And that's just one of the cons. There's the increased anxiety over time. There's the brain fog that you get. You start to lose track of memories. You can't really remember things as well. You start to get this cloud that blocks out most of your subconscious thoughts. So you're really only focused on the main 4 things that you do every day. And it's just not somewhere you want to be. The last thing I will talk about for this video, because I want to keep it short, I don't like doing long ones, is moderation. Learning how to do things in moderation, specifically smoking in moderation. It really all depends on the person. Like, I know people who can function and do everything. I was one of those people that I could smoke and I could function. Like, I could go work a job, get paid, talk to people, and be an actual person while being high. And it was manageable, it was possible, but it's not ideal. Like, it's not optimal. It's not something you want to do. It's not a position you want to put yourself in, because the best analogy that I can give you would be, it's like living life on hard mode. It's like living life with a handicap, even if you don't have a handicap. Like, because you're actively challenging yourself and your brain to do way more for the same tasks that you've always done. Like, it just makes building motivation hard. It makes completing, like, chores and shit like that, it makes it harder. It's not actively something you want to be doing. And the problem, though, is that it's not becoming a choice. It's becoming more a lifestyle. And it's being normalized that if you don't, people look at you weird. Like, it used to be, before I was born, it used to be that people would look at the stoners and be like, degenerate. Now they look at sober people who, go throughout their day normally, and they're just like, I could never. Like, no. The hardest thing you can do as a person is learn how to do something in moderation. Because as people, naturally, we want to go one way or the other, either all in or not at all. So a lot of people's mindset is, let me get absolutely blasted and try and do this, and it doesn't work out. Or, no, I can't, I shouldn't even smoke for it, I should just, do it normally and then smoke after. That's a healthier mindset to be, but it's kind of like giving yourself your own reward system. Like, if I get this done, I can go smoke. And it's not necessarily good. It's better, but it's not good. Honestly, with marijuana becoming more and more normalized and leaning towards being fully legalized, it honestly makes it scarier, because it doesn't make you a better person. It doesn't make you more functional as a human being, despite how you feel. It doesn't. It really doesn't. It hinders just about all of your senses and your ability to complete tasks with efficiency. If you push through and you persevere and you have the natural motivation to get things done anyway, then you can, but it makes it harder. Harder than it should be, harder than it needs to be. Natural, when it comes to moderation for marijuana, you want to get everything done that you need to do, and then maybe at the end of the day or the end of the night, when you don't have anything to do, you can smoke, and it's fine. You can relax, you can unwind and shit like that. But normalizing it as part of your day so that you can take on the day is not good. And that's just, I don't know, that's just something I wanted to talk about, I guess. But is there anything else? Vaping is bad, don't do that. I guess that's it. Have a good one.